Call this meeting to order. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call of the members present, please? Here.
Here. Present.
I am here. 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 Thank you very much. All right, tonight we're going to be doing our first reading on our budgets, and then we're going to go through our non-binding budgets as well. I think you have a list of those in front of you. Just to let everybody know, at the conclusion of our first reading, we will have public input. It's a public hearing, so I'll go over the rules of that here in just a second. As for each particular budget, we won't be delving in on first reading on each budget's particularities. That will be done on the evening of their second reading. So for whatever budget you may be here to speak for or against, understand we will not be getting into the nuts and bolts of that budget until that second reading is set. If you have questions, I can tell you when that meeting will be. As for the public hearing, these are the rules. The purpose of this meeting is to receive input regarding the next year's budget. Every person appearing before the council shall abide by the order at the direction of the president, who is me. Those who would like to speak will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes. Discourteous conduct so regarded as a breach of privilege and shall be dealt with at the discretion of the presiding officer. Again, me. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's have ourselves a first reading. First reading, please.
First reading. Okay, the funds and then the budget estimate as 0061 rainy day, 292, 150, 011 general, 37,644,696, 0113 non-reserve, 279,442, 0124, 714 reassessment, 523, 266, 342 police pension, 203,500. 615 animal shelter, 66,000. 616 convention and visitors bureau, 1,463,870. 702 Highway, 5,371,715. 706 local roads and streets, 1,100,000. 720 major moves, total account is $1,265,000. 790 Shingleton Bridge, 800,000. 0801 Health Department, 1,765,283. 1001 Civic Center, 472,036. 1151 Continuing Education, 12,100. 1156 Emergency Telephone System, 1,653,92. 1185 jail police rental, $2,950,000. 1303 Park, 257,085. 2142 parking garage, $16,950. 2243 plan permission, $655,230. 2391 community capital development, $3,744,221. 2411 economic development income tax, $6,538,217. 9,500 common corrections, 136,400. 9501 prosecutor.
Nobody cares.
577,947. 9502 health maintenance, 115,583. 9503 donations, 88,551. 9504 LECC, 93,834. 9505 recorder perpetuation, 500,632. 9506 Andes, 197,637. 9507 GIS, 35,200. 9508 prosecutor pre-trial version, 77,212. 9509 juvenile probation user fees, 156,654. 9510 adult probation user fees, 556,098. 9511 surveyor perpetuation, 37,368. 9512 firearms, 86,900. 9513 extradition, 5,500. 9514 measure substance, 51,316. 9515 vehicle inspection, 5,500. 9516 accident, 5,500. 9517 domestic violence grant, 104,363. 9518, cable TV franchise, $1,210,000. 9519, overweight vehicles, $56,286. 9520, prosecutor Scott grant, $31,825. 9521, overall alcohol, $393,805. 9522, public safety data tax, $261,690. 9523, videotape fees, $3,300. 9524, adult probation pre-trial services, $66,000. 9525, clerk 4D, $155,090. 9526, prosecutor 4D, incentive fund, $179,865. 9527, King's Access, $44,000. 9528, total legal, $6,600. 9529, emergency medical services, $281,600. 9530, clerk perpetuation, $64,672. 9531, state criminal alien assist, $8,800. 9532, health department trust account, $82,610. 9533, circuit court family court, $21,315. 9535, inmate funds, $149,600. 9536, adult probation administration fees, $93,374. 9537, juvenile probation administration fees, $43,503. 9538, circuit court DCF, $40,462. 9539, hospital training liability, $385,000. 9540, prosecutor Riverboat, $75,000. 9541, circuit court ADR, $27,071. 9542, hospital insurance, $3,656,400. 9543, juvenile detention code, $53,008. 9544, prosecutor check deferral, $22,550. 9545, recorder redaction, $16,500. 9546, county user fee, $229,900. 9547, sex and violent offender administration, $19,561. 9548, hospital sale proceeds, $1,149,959. 9549, drug task force, $103,189. 9550, public defender supplemental, $103,400. 9551, prosecutor 4D TCA fund, $8,030. 9552, medical care for inmates, $25,410. 9553, prosecutor state and local grant, $12,639. 9554, Edward Burns Memorial, $137,500. 9555, prosecutor 4D era incentive, $14,300. 9556, AI grant, $60,565. 9560, sheriff animal control fees, $11,000. 8601, special fire service general, $124,916. 8691, special cumulative fire, $180,000. 8210, special solid waste management, $294,905. 9500, non-reverting capital fund, solid waste, $55,500. 8101, special airport general, $1,336,770. 8190, special airport cumulative building, $264,000. Next, includes first reading and legislative action.
Thank you very much. Moving on to public input. I assume there's some public input since there are people here. Do we have a sign-in sheet? Did you get it? Mark, is it Yeager?
Yes.
You could run a stand and state your name for the minutes. And
My name is Mark Yeager of Jackson Township, and I came to speak on the budget for the Sheriff's Department Emergency Services. After that, this council reconsider the amounts given to the Sheriff's Department Emergency Services to increase that amount with the anticipated added cost of emergency services for North County, being specifically in the Indiana Dunes area, and that those services, as an emergency happens in the Indiana Dunes, it pulls services from the rural areas and it causes, where I live, to be without or limited access to emergency services, with the potential of adding a venue on the Indiana Dunes where there's alcohol being served. I'm concerned that that would add an added safety risk and cause more emergency services being used in that area instead of for the rest of the county. It also concerns me that that venue does not pay any property taxes or support this county in those services. That's what I wanted to ask the council to consider if that venue goes through, whether they budgeted for that, those added services.
Thank you very much. Janet French?
I'm here because I'm concerned about the convention, the county convention operation and visitor commission. I'm concerned about their budget, and I understand that the county council, as elected officials, oversee how that budget is spent, and I want to register my concerns about how that money has been spent and where I think it can be better spent.
Thank you very much. Tim Cook?
I'm here for those same reasons, but I'll leave it to others to elucidate a little more.
Thanks, Tim. Is it Bernice Lundahl? Please.
Bernice Lundahl, Jackson Township. I'm here with the interest of the state park, supporting youth action.
Thank you. Joanne Davies?
I'm here for the same reason.
Is it Diane Bates?
I'm here for the same reason, although I would like to have the council have a copy of today's. Can I start here and just let the council?
Yeah, that'd be fine, Diane.
Thank you.
Hey, Dan,
Yes.
they're not getting picked up on the mic.
No. Yeah, is that mic on there? Because,
Joey, is that mic on?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay.
When they come up, just have them go here.
yeah, that way you can be, okay. And then, is it David Neville?
Here is working on the Parks Foundation in regards to something going on.
I didn't catch it, sorry.
Here with Porter County Parks Foundation, and my interests are lying in relationship to Sunset Hill activities.
Okay. Roy Tribble?
Hold on a minute.
Oh, that's fine. Julia Bowersox.
I'm here from the Westchester Public Library with the
That's right. And again, if you guys have a specific, I appreciate you coming and speaking. If we have a specific budget, the way we do this is we go through our first reading collectively, and then on a particular given night, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of that budget and get into it in some detail. So if you have a budget that you have particular in mind that you want to make sure you're a part of that, you can simply ask, or we can give you a copy of our agendas coming up. You know, we have a couple more meetings this week, and it's going to be rough sledding. Margaret Willis. How do you call Julia?
Hi. Is this working?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, great. I have a lengthy statement. If you feel I go over time, just say, good evening, and thank you for this time to address what has become a topic of intense interest in our community. I'm here as a concerned citizen and a taxpayer and a representative of Dunes Action to comment on the Porter County Convention, Recreation, and Visitors Commission budget. Last Thursday, at the hearing by the Porter County Alcohol Board, it became evident that Porter County tax money has gone into greasing the skids for projects proposed by Pavilion Partners at the Indiana Dunes State Park. The general public and the community most directly affected are staunchly opposed to this project. Over 5,000 people have signed petitions against additional construction at the lakefront, and 1,175 people have signed a petition in opposition to the issuance of an alcohol permit. Alcohol was banned in the park in 1990 for very good reasons. Pavilion Partners will be paying no property taxes, as has already been remarked on. And as a member of the community, I can't help noticing that it's been almost 2 months now, and the questions submitted by so many concerned citizens at the Tourism Board meeting have yet to be answered. The director of the Porter County Tourism Bureau was, apparently, instrumental in developing this idea and personally lobbied to get legislators on board to pass special legislation allowing alcohol to be served in our Dune State Park. Her salary is paid for by Porter County innkeepers' taxes. The fact that our Tourism Bureau, instead of reflecting the values of the county and the community adjacent to the lakefront, has worked instead to promote alcohol use at the beach and unwanted construction there is a gross misuse of county taxes. The money could easily have gone to help our county parks, our Memorial Opera House, the Expo Center, or the Porter County Museum. These changes at the state park will create a very unpredictable drain on our county's finances in the form of additional demands on 911 and the Sheriff's Department and on every community which provides mutual aid. With respect, I ask you, the County Council, to refocus the use of the innkeeper's tax funds to support taxpayers of Porter County by doubling or tripling the venue fund to support the 4 venues that I listed above. I also ask that this council please support a resolution against an alcohol permit at the lakefront, ban the distribution of tax-funded grants to private businesses through the PCCRVC, limit expenditures for economic development consultants, which seem to get paid to tell the PCCRVC staff and board what it wants to hear, and propose ideas like alcohol and a banquet center on the beach. I urge restoration of the PCCRVC grants for established community-based nonprofit festivals. The council could also consider cutting the innkeeper's tax rate, for that matter, to make our hotels more competitive and reduce this kind of wasteful activity at the Tourism Bureau. I would also suggest, given the fact that this council's appointee, Mitch Peters, showed such disrespect and contempt for the public at the PCCRVC meeting held at the Memorial Opera House, that you seriously consider replacing him as your appointee and representative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. George Schaefer.
I thought the protocol was that everyone would sign in, I'm just here to say.
Oh, okay. You don't have to speak. I just don't want to miss anybody. Leah, is it Yelich?
Yeah, that's correct. Sorry, we have the Westchester Public Library.
Okay, great. Pam, is it Rick? Rich?
I'd like to reiterate and agree with everything that Margaret Willis just presented to you.
I would like to see you reduce the amount of money that the Convention and Visitors Bureau receives from the county. Many people have spoken out. If you attended the Alcohol Board meeting that was held last Thursday, there were 550 people there. Not even most, only 14 were opposed, or were for the permit. Over 500 were against it. And those are Porter County residents. We have a petition that was signed by 1,100 people, and this is something that the Tourism Board worked for and toward. I would also like this body to individually let your constituents know how you stand on this issue, because this is a hot-button issue, and all your constituents deserve to know your position on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Walt, here.
Well, again, I support what Margaret Willis said, and that's what I was here for. She addressed everything that I was going to talk about. I just really don't understand how the Tourism Board could go downstate and lobby for alcohol at a state park when it's totally banned already. I don't understand the Tourism Board doing that. That doesn't seem to be in the best interest of all the motels and restaurants around here. So it seems to be directly against it. So, thank you.
Thanks, Walt. Just to let you know, the Tourism Board, the second reading for them is actually Thursday the 17th. So... This Thursday. So we'll be asking the questions and hopefully getting the answers, and I'm sure it'll be quite clear to everybody where we stand as the conversation ensues. Bruce Lindner. Yeah, Bruce, I saw you here. You left. That boring, huh? Connie Whitmer.
That's me. I also oppose, and I agree with everything that Margaret just read.
Okay. Yeah, that seems to be that's the last one on the list here. That seems to be a hot ticket item, without question, and has conjured up a great deal of discussion amongst the individual members of this board, and I'm sure it will culminate into some fairly serious discussions with the Tourism Board when they come up for their second reading. So, if you want to come back and watch that, like I said, it's Thursday at 5 p.m. Was there anybody else that needed or wanted to speak? Okay, thank you all for your input, and again, if you have any particular, yes? No?
Are you sure?
It was kind of a wave, I think I was...
Is that a wave?
Waving back, seeing you.
Want to tell them how long it's going to be Thursday?
It's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Somebody else, yes? Okay, and what was your name?
Long name.
Okay, just for the minutes.
It's a long name.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of budgets to go through, and some of them have some fairly non-issue issues, and some of them have some fairly detailed and, for lack of a better word, acrimonious issues built within them, and I would suspect that the tourism will be one of those. So, our oversight is, as you have, I'm sure, noted, is limited. We don't have any oversight over the state. We don't have any oversight as to what they do. We have one appointment to the Beverage Commission, and we have one appointment to the Tourism Board, and we oversee the Tourism Board's budget. So those are things that we can do, and given that project a lot of thought, listening, I've had a lot of folks contact me at my law office. I've talked through some of the concerns that folks have, heard what, and I've got a lot of calls, some of the concerns, and we'll address those.
Can I ask a question, Dan?
Yeah.
Scott, is our role just to reject their budget? We can't change it?
We can lower it, right?
Lower it, we can't change line items.
I think we can.
Yeah, we can.
I thought you said we
can increase.
We can change
the amounts of the
We can increase.
We can't go up.
We can decrease.
We can decrease.
We can change line items or decrease their budget in general.
I think we can decrease individual line items.
Okay, all right. So I know our hands are tied on some of them. All right.
Well, it ought to be interesting.
This has been, especially up in the Dillon area, and I represent the first district on the county council, along with Bob, and then Karen and Sylvia, Dan at large. As contentious as this has been, I mean, personally, I look at it as a resident up there that, I think it's humbling to see the community come together, because at least from my perspective as an elected official, it has been overwhelmingly on the side of, we don't think this is a good idea, for various reasons. And I personally had wrote a public editorial on the subject and put it in the papers. So, I don't know at the end of the day how this is all going to turn out, but we should be proud of ourselves up in the Dillon area that we stood up, either for it or against it. We stood up and said something. So, thank you.
I would like to add to that I'm very impressed that people come out and have spoken. And on Thursday night, you are about the 10th. The Porter County tourism budget will be heard about the 10th budget.
So don't rush down here at 5 o'clock.
Well,
Unless we pull it first, because we have a room.
Well, you want to
There you
say
go.
that now up front?
we're full of people, you go first.
Number 5,
Yeah, we'll get everybody in that way, they don't have to wait.
so we can do that.
Pizza?
So if you've had a feeling or a concern, and your neighbors have had a concern that the council hasn't been paying attention, or the council hasn't at least individually formed opinions on this, that's not true. And I think you'll get a pretty good handle on, because there's been a lot of discussion amongst the members about this. Unfortunately, there's only so much we can do. We're in really not a whole lot better position than you are, other than to deal with the budget of the tourism board and make statements. But we'll get to it on Thursday at 5, so come back. Okay,
Keep up the good fight.
that takes care of first reading. Do we need to vote on that one, Scott? Do we vote on first reading? All right, we're going to recess now, and then we're going to come back and do the non-binding. So let's recess for about 5 minutes and come back and do the non-binding and give folks a chance to leave if they want.
We're going to be stormed Thursday,
Yeah.
but that, maybe we'll have some...
No.
I like it.
Every time I make it, I think it's totally for this reason. Yes.
Thursday, after that date, that one.
I don't think.
And then, when I was looking at the budget schedule.
I understand, yes. I've heard that.
So for to start, if you go the other way. Where we're at. Okay. It's gonna start at opportunity. We're not at that point. There you go.
Thanks, man. This is gonna be rough sledding, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thanks, buddy. Okay, thanks, man.
That's all reflected.
I hate budgets. There's easy, yeah, good old days when people were hiding money. All right.
Yeah.
So typically,
Long time no see.
we've gone one by one. We've gone there, or we've done a blanket motion.
No, we talked to Sylvia.
You do have a couple of bindings.
I see that. Okay. Porter, Township Fire,
We're just here tonight.
For the first reading, right. I just, you said, coming back for the non-binding, you're coming back for a couple of bindings.
And she said, but, you know...
And then she's got...
And she talked about school, guys charge meaning the city of Portage to retrieve your pet. I said, no,
I'll quickly report that.
that's all out the window. You're gonna pay in a...
All right, Scott, when do we want to get together?
Community is. I said, the city is out there twofold, towards animals and towards the shelter. Of course, if you wanna maintain yours, then you won't have to pay towards the county offices. They're gonna have to follow the rules and the ordinance of the county, but you are gonna be paying towards the shelter.
Right. But when you say that, I mean, nobody pays individually towards a shelter.
We're going to be starting next year. Starting...
For animal control.
Starting next year. The city's gonna pay X amount for control officers and X amount, there'll be one, and the formula is set up with all the communities. Starting next year, we're gonna be paying this amount towards animal control officers, I think it's 50-50 split, and this amount is gonna go towards the shelter. There's gonna fund set up.
Oh, but, okay.
And I told her she wouldn't have to worry, the Portage folks wouldn't have to worry about paying towards control officers, but they would have to pay a fee for the shelter. That's what I told Sue this afternoon.
But the collection is that fee it's just for animal control fee. The ordinance is an animal control fee.
Okay. I'm not real familiar with the whole ordinance, but it's...
I know what you're saying, but I don't know about, I was talking to, but, yeah, because I was talking to, the sheriff, or who I was talking to, but he was saying, no, it's Vicki, about that. So, in that fee, they set it up to where, yeah, some of the money is going towards the collection of that fee, some of the money towards the sheriff's department, some of that money towards the shelter, yes. But I don't believe it, I mean, it's not like an extra fee, it's just everybody's gonna finally pay what they should.
We're gonna pay, but half of it's gonna go here, and half of it's gonna go here.
I wanna be careful to say that we're taxing them to bring their animals.
Well, in essence, yeah, the city residents pay, township, you pay county tax anyway. And you're gonna pay more because there's more of a concentration of the township in the community and in corporation. That's how they sold it to the city.
I'll have to get that ordinance. They just passed an hour control. You know where they got that?
I'd like to say it was May or June.
Okay. The quick answer is reestablishing, I think, and then redirecting for animal control. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I saw the email, yes.
There you go.
The good guys are engraved so we can automatically...
Yes, they do blanket. The end.
All right, now on the schools, back to what we thought. You just leave off the operator school.
All right.
Yeah, where are they?
On the spreadsheets in there, we just gotta talk about it up to that, we can continue the discussion.
All right, okay. All right, let's go. Okay, we'll reconvene, and let's, you've all got, the schedule for the non-binding, and then there's a section called non-binding continued, and then there's a section called binding. With respect to the section that is labeled binding on this piece of paper, we were here for first reading on that section, and we already had that. That was included in the first reading that we just did, so we don't need to do anything on that now. So Westport Township Fire Airport, all that, we've already dealt with that. The other two sections, we're going to take the first section, which is just labeled non-binding, and again, we're merely having a recommendation, or giving a recommendation, thumbs up or thumbs down. It's not binding, it's a finger wagging or a thumbs up that absolutely nobody on the planet will listen to. So, we can start with that section, and then on the other section, the non-binding continued, with the exception of Valparaiso School District, that is no longer under our watch. We don't need to vote on those, we just merely need to have discussion about them. So let's start with the section that is characterized as non-binding. Boone Township Trustee, Center Township Trustee, Jackson Township Trustee, Liberty Township Trustee, Morgan Township Trustee, Pine Township Trustee, Pleasant Township Trustee, Portage Township Trustee, Porter Township Trustee, Union Township Trustee, Washington Township Trustee, Westchester Township Trustee, Beverly Shores Civil Town, Burns Harbor, Chesson, Dune Acres, Hebron, Couts, Ogden Dunes, Pines, Porter, Portage, and Valparaiso, all civil. Communities, Porter County Library, Public Library, Westchester Public Library, Damon Run Conservancy, Indian Boundary Conservancy, Nature Works Conservancy, Twin Creeks Conservancy, White Oaks Conservancy, and Valparaiso Area Lakes Conservancy. What you have with these is a sort of a breakout or a spreadsheet of the increases from the current budget, showing the respective increases. What we've done in the past is one of two things. We've taken them line by line and had a vote on each one, or we have just collectively done a motion that says those that are over the requisite state road quotient, we send a non-recommendation, and the ones that are under that, we send a favorable recommendation, and then, again, nobody cares. So, there it is. How would you guys like to handle that?
Well, since David's here, if any of us have a question or two about, because we were just talking about this, look at this, the figures just don't, as an example, and I'm just picking one, the large one, I'm not picking on anybody, it's just, but I did notice Liberty Township, it went from minus 33.02% to minus 100%. What does that mean exactly?
Are you talking budget, levy, or rate?
I'm talking, the budget is minus 32.02%.
With a levy of minus 100.
Yes.
That's a change. Well, they changed their budget. Is anybody here from Liberty?
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys, I don't know that the non-bindings, if you have...
They reduced their budget.
Yeah, if you have specific...
What you're seeing on the screen are the forms that each of the taxing units have to submit to the state, and they're online on Gateway. So this is the information that the taxing units submitted. And you can see Liberty Township overall, when you look at the budget, they reduced their budget. We're not showing any levy information. I'm not sure why.
But if you look at that, the 100% township assistance...
They have no township assistance in their budget?
Was $60,000, this year they've submitted nothing.
So they have no money for township assistance? They're not budgeting any money? That was the trustees' claim to fame.
According to what's here, this is information that they input.
Each unit of government now submits through the Gateway system.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about the fact they have no money for township assistance.
Wow.
And if somebody in Liberty Township needs some help with their NIPSCO bill, they don't have anything to give them.
Now,
Liberty Township, two funds are not receiving a budget this year. That's in the notes.
I'm purely speculating, but they may have rainy day funds that they intend to transfer.
Yeah, but it still has to be budgeted.
And again,
Trying to do an additional program.
so here's the thing I want to really make clear. we could, for example, pull out Liberty Township, and we could spend the next 4.5 hours pontificating on the exact changes,
Yep.
and it makes no difference.
Right, but that's, I just want to make a statement, that's all.
So non-by
here and act like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We really don't know what we're doing.
We know what we're doing, we don't, but not by what we do. The state gave us the obligation of giving a recommendation that they also said doesn't matter.
Let's go ahead and vote.
I'll make Dan's motion that, anybody within the growth gets a favorable, and anybody under gets a slap on the hand from the council. Or above the growth and below. Yeah.
Right. You understand his motion?
You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right. Discussion?
Well, I'll jump in.
Of course.
Yeah, you know I can, rarely, but they do put it in front of us for some reason or another. I don't know why. Maybe it's one of their grand schemes down the road. But to upset Dan, and I can keep talking and keep him here, it's like filibustering so he doesn't have to go home. My issue is township government's important to me. It's really important. And I still have some connections in township government, and when I hear that a certain township trustee, and I'll just be, Washington Township trustee, is not taking phone calls, and not visiting with people that are in need, I have a problem with that, because, and I know this because those people are then going to Portage Township, which I represent all of Portage Township. So I just have a problem when budgets are being set and people are being elected and getting a paycheck and they're not visiting, and those people that are they need something. They can't even get denied anything so they can go further on into the different social services and get help in different places.
I need to piggyback on that, because the city of Valparaiso has also been getting complaints, so to speak, and it has to do with Washington Township, where they can't get a hold of the trustee's not calling back, and they've got a disconnection notice. And in order to get private sector help, they have to be visited by their township trustee, so they're going to Portage or they're going to Center just to get a form to go through the private sector for help, because their calls and their pleas aren't being answered.
Is there not a Washington Township Advisory Board that...
They have been contacted by the city of Valparaiso. They have been contacted by the city of Valparaiso several times.
Here's the problem with it, though. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have 1 ounce of authority.
I understand that, but...
We brought it to the attention.
So, what I would suggest is, if I lived in a district where the township trustee was non-communicatus, as they say, I would be lobbying to find myself a new trustee in the next election. Because that's how it works.
It doesn't help people right now that need them.
But again, there's unfortunately nothing this body can do about that. Good, Dave.
I'm not here to speak to Washington Township, but you better remember, this is not the only public process on the budget.
That's right.
Washington Township will have to go through a public hearing in September and adopt their budget at a public meeting in October.
And then the state will...
Both would be opportunities for Washington Township folks to appear before their deliberative body and complain.
Right.
So there's at least 2 more options at the local level.
Well, there might actually be a binding vote.
So we're just starting the conversation publicly.
Well, I do know that those that have approached the city because they're in dire need of some help, are afraid of any kind of repercussion from the township trustee too, and that has been said numerous times. If I complain, then...
And additionally, I can speak for Center Township.
Yes.
And it's the same thing at times.
Yes.
If we pass this motion, we are including Washington Township.
Well, that's right. And then they're, I guess, beneath, and that's all we can do.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Let's get a roll call on this.
Councilmember Graham? Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Conrad?
Anybody
Yes.
not anticipate? Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Vick?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
I'm abstaining because it's bunched in there and I have conflict in one of them.
And Councilmember Sessions?
Yes.
Thank you. And I don't mean to be, and I don't mean to discard the concerns that everybody has, and you know, the problem is we delved into this really deeply the first year they had us do it, and we really went one by one, and we gave some serious recommendations, and nobody cares, because it just doesn't matter. So, if the state would make it binding, well, then suddenly they would probably care. Okay, that takes care of that section. Let's go to the schools. Scott, how would you suggest should we discuss each one, or?
Yes.
So, what's your thoughts on the Boone Township School Corporation?
Wow.
Looks like 11.21%, levy 28.9%. All right, how about the Dillon School Corporation? 3.28%, levy 9.25%. Wow. East Porter School Corporation, 6.41%, 30.66%. Portage Township School Corporation, 15.08%, levy 26.28%. Look at that. Look at that. Portage Township School Corporation, 14.86%, 24.98%. Another big one. Union Township School Corporation, 4.68, levy 7.55.
Looks excellent.
That's good, looks really solid, actually. Not too bad, not too bad. Don't look at the Valparaiso Community School Corporation one, that shouldn't be there, I don't want anyone to even mention it. So, what's your thoughts on this? Big numbers, big numbers. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah.
Well, it's...
Gotta educate the kids.
Yeah, well,
Gotta do that, right?
meaningless to, whatever we say, or it's gonna go through, so...
Right, and,
However, we have voice our opinions that these are very large raises,
there's some big ones, there's some big increases there.
and
You're right, Sylvia. Big increases.
I'm,
Well, that's just what they're
Proposing.
proposing, the
Yeah.
state.
I'll make the motion to approve.
There's no motion.
We don't want motion on this?
Nope.
Well, then,
That's it, we discussed it. Do you have any else thoughts? We've got the numbers, we saw them, some of them seem pretty high. We gotta educate the kids.
Well,
There's
it's
that.
just like Attorney Hollenbeck said, they're gonna go through their other
process.
They have their process.
They've got the school funding issues through the state, and...
just like to make the people of Porter County aware that they better pay heed to their school corporations when they meet, that,
Yeah, talk to some of those school board members, and...
absolutely.
We had a referendum, we're paying our fair share.
oh, yeah.
Right, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all, that's cool. Did we do anything else tonight? Okay, with that, guys, ladies, thanks for coming.
Wednesday?
Cities and towns?
Wednesday.
5 o'clock.
We did that.
Oh, we did them?
That was part of the big motion, Karen, the big motion.
Oh, the big motion, okay.
They all got the finger